Beijing, North and South Korea are due to hold their first official talks in more than 2 years next Tuesday, as both sides dial down tensions ahead of next month's Winter Olympics in the South, but experts warned not to expect too much from the fragile process. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in has been trying to thaw frozen ties with the North since he was elected back in May, with one eye on ensuring the success of the Olympics and another on opening the door to a wider dialogue. But it took until this week for the North Korean leader to pick up the olive branch. In his New Year's Day speech, Kim Jong-un said he wanted to improve ties, earnestly wished the Olympics to be a success and suggested the two sides meet urgently to discuss his country's participation. From there, events moved quickly. Seoul responded with an offer of talks in the border village of Panmunjom next Tuesday. On Wednesday, North Korea opened a dormant cross-border hotline to facilitate communications, and Washington and Seoul agreed Thursday not to hold military exercises until after the Games, and on Friday morning Seoul was able to announce that Pyongyang had formally agreed to the talks. In Washington, President Trump and his administration signaled they wouldn't get in the way, with Trump even tweeting that talks are a good thing. Is Trump making himself irrelevant on North Korea? John Delury, a professor of international relations at Yonsei University in Seoul, said events had unfolded seamlessly this week, and it was likely the two sides would be able to reach an agreement on sending a North Korean delegation to the Olympics. But beyond such sports diplomacy, officials and experts from Washington to Tokyo remain very wary. They are suspicious of Kim's motives, noting that he vowed to spend this year mass-producing nuclear warheads and ballistic missiles. Kim also called on Seoul not to join Washington in its reckless moves for a North-targeted nuclear war, and called on it to discontinue joint military exercises with the United States. There is, in other words, absolutely no sign he has the remotest interest on turning his back on his nuclear program, and his agreement to dialogue may simply be an effort to get some relief from international sanctions, drive a wedge between Washington and Seoul, and buy time to develop his nuclear program further. I think what is important is to maintain a firm defense posture, Japanese Defense Minister Itsunori Onodera told a news conference in Tokyo on Friday, according to Reuters. North Korea goes through phases of apparent dialogue and provocation, but either way, North Korea is continuing its nuclear and missile development. We have no intention of weakening our warning and surveillance. Despite this caution, Trump and South Korea's Moon did agree to postpone their annual joint military exercises until after the Olympics, a gesture that should allow the Games to take place against a slightly less fraught backdrop. Further ahead, though, the dialogue process remains fragile and is likely to run into some very fundamental obstacles. According to the White House, Trump and Moon agreed during a telephone conversation to continue the campaign of maximum pressure against North Korea. But Kim will surely come into any dialogue process looking for financial rewards and relief from sanctions.